Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's continue to work on the Spring Security configuration. Last time we have added the file of Spring Security config.java. We left out some of the stuff that to be added in this lesson. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we're going to create a new class under the config folder. And we're going to call it security utility. And we're going to register this class as a component so that Spring knows this is a component bin. And we can define a string called sort. And this sort is kind of important, okay? Normally, sort should be protected carefully. And it shouldn't be something like this straightforward sort string, because it's going to be used as a seed to define our encoder. And you should use something very gibberish, string, special string, and you should protect it carefully. You shouldn't just put it in source code. You should make a local file, a separate external file, and then make it unable to be changed and protected, things like that. But for this course, just for demonstration purpose, I'll just leave it simple, make it as source as a string. And then we're going to define a bin. This would be bcrypt as word encoder. This would return a new bcrypt password encoder. We're going to define the algorithm number. So if we actually look it up, so basically this bcrypt password encoder implementation of password encoder that uses the bcrypt strong hashing function. And the client can optionally supply a strength. So basically it's the log rounds in bcrypt and a secure random instance. So the larger strength parameter, the more work will have to be done to hash the password. And notice that this is exponentially. So that means one difference, say from 9 to 10, could be exponentially. So the numbers should be very careful. So you need to test those numbers. If you have some very big numbers, the performance would be very poor, even though the encoded string will be very safe. But if it's too small, performance is good, but the string is not that safe. So you should have some good numbers in your mind. And as you can see, here's a constructor takes a strength as integer as input, and also some security random here. And let's come back. We're gonna use the number 12, which is good enough. And then we have the secure random from our sort.get bytes. Okay, Ctrl Shift O, import all the packages. And we have another bin that we need to add. Random password. So we will have a string of sort characters, if you would like to call that. And basically this is the alphabet plus all the numbers. And we have a string builder. Sort equals to new string builder. random number. While sort length less than 18, we're gonna do a index next float, get a float number, times sort chars length, and we're gonna append sort chars char at index string sort string equals to sort to string So what this does is that we are picking from all these characters randomly, and we're gonna pick 18 characters, and then we're gonna build it as a string and return a string. That's basically what this method does. Okay. Now come back to our security configuration. Control-Shift-O to import our packages. Now that we have all the things, pretty much all the stuff added, leaving out only the user security service, we're gonna add that for now. And first, we need to create a service folder. Oops, not web service, but a folder called service. And we're gonna create a interface called user security service. Well, actually, let's come back. We can just directly create a class in this case, and we're gonna call it user security service implementation. No, sorry, no implementation, just user security service, and finish. First of all, we're gonna mark it up as a service so that Spring knows this is a service bean. And then this will be implementing the user detail service. We're gonna define a logger. And this is a good example for how to define a logger. User security service class. Control-Shift-O. For logger, we're gonna have the first one, which is the SLF4J logger. And we're gonna wire up a user repository. So this user repository will be used as a bean to access database. It's basically a layer between our Java classes and the database. So this is related to the ORM concept. So ORM basically is object relational mapping. This concept is very important. If you're not familiar with it, you should go check it out. And these things are explained in my other courses. like in the Build an E-commerce using Spring Framework course, as well as the Build an Online Bank course as well. But basically, it's just that between Java class and the relational database data table, there's a gap. So we have a class which have different fields and getters and setters. But in the relational database, we have those tables, right? How do we map them? So there should be a layer in between to map them up. That's called ORM, Object Relational Mapping. We basically use JPA, Java Persistent API, and Hibernate to do that, okay? Now we have our user repository, which we haven't defined yet. We need to define that later. We need to define another method. This returns a user details. Loader user by username. String username throws username not found exception. Username, find by username. So this is a method used to find a user by username. If now equals user log shows some warning saying that username not found, and we'll leave it as a parameter. And we pass the real username to it. And this is gonna from new username not found exception. And then we'll return the user. So basically what this method does is that when we log in, we are typing in the username and password, right? So first we need to send this user to this method so that we go to our database using the repository to find the username and then retrieve the user who has that username. And if we can't find this user, we know the username is a wrong username, right? Because it doesn't exist in the database. So we're gonna throw a exception. But if we can't find the user, we just return that user, okay? Now that we have that stuff developed, we need to implement this user repository. And we're gonna do it in the next lesson, all right? See you guys in the next video. Bye.